Welcome.
Welcome.
And also welcome to you, wonderful listener, to our 18th episode of When Life Feels Messy.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to insert a little quick apology.
Oh,
Sorry.
apology. Oh, okay. What are we apologizing for?
Information, I don't know, of our hibernation of the month of January. You know, the When Life Feels Messy crew went into an unexpected hibernation season.
Yeah.
And it was needed because now we're here, we're refreshed.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We are excited.
Yes.
And we're ready to
get back into it.
Get back into it.
Yeah. I mean, I think full transparency, like, end of the year is just really hard. And I got married.
Oh
my
gosh, you got married.
There was a lot happening, and we just decided, like, we just needed a month break.
Sure did.
And now we're back and we're rolling, and we're actually recording this in person, which is crazy.
Yes.
Because we haven't in a while, because schedules have been out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy to be here in this space with you.
Me too. So I hope that was a good intro.
I think it was a great intro and one take, because you killed it.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't feel nervy.
I don't. I think also maybe it had something to do with like we were not in person.
Oh, yeah. That virtual piece.
Yeah.
Intriguing. Because, you know, you hear so much about like virtual, you're in your home, it makes you feel like more cozy, but sounds like it felt like a little bit more disconnected.
Yeah, I know we're sidetracking a little bit, but I think
Okay.
our listeners can relate to us with that virtual piece, because in virtual you can see yourself sometime on the screen. Like if you don't like say remove your little box.
Yeah.
And I think my anxiety gets caught up with seeing myself talk. Versus when we're in person, I'm just looking at you.
Yeah, just
You're
look at your
awesome.
reflection in my glasses right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're so excited to be back and start, this year with an amazing topic. Start February with talking about
Dun dun dun.
Body Image Awareness Month.
Yeah.
February is Body Image Awareness Month, and we're going to talk about body image, all things body image,
Yeah.
and your mental health.
Yes. Get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling like uncomfortable that we highlighted what our topic's going to be this month, like, welcome. You're probably in the right place.
Yay. Okay, so what is body image? What is the logistical definition?
Well, I will say, like, in my research, is I don't think there is an agreed upon definition of body image officially.
Yeah.
But this is one that, like, I kind of pieced together a few that seem to be the general idea. So take that with a grain of salt.
Okay. I love this definition. Okay.
Thank you.
It is the subjective perception, thoughts and feelings a person has about their own body. It involves how you see yourself in the mirror and how you perceive your size and shape and overall appearance, and how they assume others perceive them. So how you think about others thinking about you. Gnarly.
Yeah. I think that last part, too, is, like, at least for me personally, like, I always feel like my perception of what others see is, like, way different and more, like, intense than necessarily what I see and feel. But
I can relate. I think that's why I have that anxiety with virtual sometimes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're, like, thinking I perceive you some type of way kind of thing?
Well, it's like my brain wants to, like, inhabit another person's brains of, like, how they see me.
Oh.
But under my own judgments of myself, when in reality that person doesn't have those judgments. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like,
I see you as a rock star.
and a rock sometimes.
Oh.
That's being thrown through the window, but I had to just throw the humor in there.
Humor. Okay.
Okay. So I'm glad that we started off with talking about like virtual, because like we just made a connection with body image.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that in doing this, but like,
yeah,
that's a real thing too, because like something I'm thinking about too is like this phenomenon of like the camera adds 10 pounds, right? Like there's so much, I think, of just upset feelings that I hear a lot of, like how you look in pictures, how you look in videos and things. And now we're in like this telehealth like common world, and I didn't even think about like how that might pop up and impact that. And I'm kind of surprised, but like nothing like that really popped up in my research. So I wonder if that's something that like Ash and Aaron, like Penn started a new research thing.
Yeah.
If anyone like looks into that, let us know. Because I would be interested to see like if the virtual component did impact body image at all, especially like during COVID, which we already know was like a hard time in general for people.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's interesting. Thanks for making that correlation, friend.
Yeah. My mind is not going to all these avenues.
Side notes.
Yeah, these side notes of like virtual COVID, like all the things that came up. And I've heard people feeling like, oh, yeah, COVID sucked, and how we transitioned like our lifestyles, like mainly being at home.
Yeah.
But they felt more comfortable because work or school, they could only be seen from like their torso up, or maybe even their neck up.
Yes.
You know?
Oh my gosh, there's so many pieces to this.
Or like even like wearing a mask. Like, okay, having a mask on, you're only able to see like just my eyes and forehead, if that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like this double-edged sword almost a little bit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that could be a whole tangent. Yeah. So we're going to put a pin in that.
Pin it.
And come back to that at a different time.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, but let's pivot a little bit, because in thinking about like body image, which thank you for reading the makeshift definition that I put together.
It was pretty great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I think talking about like the biggest factors, or maybe even just like common things that tend to come up that really impact body image, is going to be important, because I think sometimes, or at least for me, right, like when I think of body image, I don't know why, but I think I automatically like try to take responsibility for like when I think about my body in a negative way, or like my own like negative treatment of my body, and not like holding accountable like the million different factors in our world, in upbringing, all the things that have like molded that. Because, I mean, you think about it, like, you're not just born into this world and you're like, I hate my body, right? Like,
right.
That is something that you are taught, and it's learned through what people say, what people do, like what society standards, all the things. So,
yes,
I think that it's important to kind of talk about those things. So,
yeah,
starting off with thinking about like media and cultural influences. I mean, I think this is a given, right? Media has one of the biggest influences on us, which is just so crazy, right? But you like, I mean, you think about it, like you see the movies, like you grow up, right? Like the Disney princesses all had like a specific body type.
Victoria's Secret models.
Victoria's Secret. I wasn't allowed to watch that growing up, but you know, like Victoria's Secret models, like it's definitely pushed of a certain image, right? And like you see that, like you literally have magazines where like it's on the cover of the page, like,
yeah, sexiest man alive.
Exactly. And then you're expected to like see this, and now we have social media, right, where you see it all the time, and you see all these models or celebrities or whatever, and it's like, oh, then you're expected to just like not judge yourself and feel like, what am I doing wrong, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like,
and they get rewarded for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Through attention, money.
Exactly. They get complimented, like, oh my gosh, they look great. Like, so that just gets ingrained in you of like, oh, like I want to feel and look like that, so I need to do X, Y, and Z, right? Which can be a whole other tangent of what that looks like and what we do, like restricting our body and not taking care of ourselves for that. But again, we will not tangent.
Yeah.
Social comparisons, right? Like,
Yes.
again, we compare ourselves to others. I think that is something that as humans is so easy to do. Is like you can literally like walk down a sidewalk, walk by a stranger, and automatically start thinking, oh my gosh, like this person looks or has this and I don't. Like it comes up even just like, I think without even thinking about it, like it's a habit, right? It's like so ingrained in us, and it's so sad to me too of how much we compare to each other.
Yeah, and it's in like those like social or like maybe institutional places. Like I'm just thinking of like stores or department stores where they have like different sections of sizes.
Yes.
And I'm like, what if you are with a friend or like you're with a family member? Like, are you supposed to now shop separately?
Right. Yeah. Like you have to like split and go your different ways.
I don't know. It's just, it's crazy to me.
That literally makes me think of, and this popped in my head. I don't know if you've ever been to like the store Cato's.
Yes.
Okay. So like love Cato's. Like that was like my store growing up. Like if I needed fancy clothes, that's where we'd go.
Yeah.
But I hated the store because it was like a clear wall division between juniors, petite, and then plus size. And it felt like you literally walk in the door and you have to make a decision of which side I'm going to go to. Like, and it just felt so intense. And it's like, I used to be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I can still like fit in the junior side, right?
Right. Like, or even just, I feel wrong looking in this side.
Yeah.
Or this section. Like, you shouldn't have to feel that way in a store.
Right. Exactly.
Or they want your money.
Exactly. Yes. And so like that's literally what popped in my head, is just like things like that, right? Like, oh, I don't know.
Quizzes.
Anyway, family. I mean, we know family, peers, the people that we surround ourselves with, the influence that they have is monumental, because these are the people that you're surrounded by. These are your quote unquote support system. These are your role models, right?
Yeah.
And so depending upon like their own ideas about body image, how they view themselves, how they view others, is gonna have an impact and shape like how you view yourself. Like I can't even count how many times I've heard clients talk about like, oh, my mom like hated their body, right? So it's like growing up, mom was like really like intense about like restricting, like on them about don't eat this, you have to eat this, why aren't you working out, etc. And it's just like I know that probably for like in their perspective was coming from a good place, but was not doing a healthy thing at all.
Exactly. Especially when like parents are like young parents, or like, or also didn't have their parents to teach them like healthy body image or like boundaries within themselves of like, how do I want to have a relationship with my body and my thoughts about my body?
Yeah.
That's like authentic to me and not self-deprecating.
Yeah, like I mean the concept of even having a relationship with your body was so foreign to me until like I would say probably till I was like 25. Because I just wasn't taught it. It wasn't something like, I mean, again, growing up in a very conservative area, like my body was a temple, but also was something that I wasn't allowed to do like certain things, you know? And so like I don't feel like I really learned what my body was, like what it does for me, like different elements about it till I was older, because I had to teach myself. So family and peers have a big influence on us and how we even like start to think about our bodies in this world. Cultural and ethnic factors. We know there are so many different beauty standards in different cultures and different ethnicities, even in different, like, I'm thinking of like areas that you live in, right?
Oh, yeah.
like depending upon like, do you live in a more rural area? Do you live in a more like city diverse area? Like there are just all different kinds of standards, and none of them like seem to be the same.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you have like this confusion pot of, okay, so my culture embraces like maybe like bigger like body shapes, more curvy, more X, Y, and Z. But over here in this like westernized world we live in, that's like obesity. That's frowned upon. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's reminding me of like I watched a clip of like this podcaster who was white. She's a white woman talking to this like Korean comedian. And the Korean woman was saying like, yeah, my other Korean friends were like questioning, are you sure you want to eat that? Like,
yes.
you sure you like want to wear that? Like, you're okay with how you look right now? Like, very judgy.
Yes.
And the white woman was like, yeah, I went to college and I had Asian friends that I would just overhear their conversations with each other about like, oh, my body, like I'm so fat, I'm not skinny enough. And she's like, they had like no visible muffin tops, no visible fat. And then the white woman was like, what do y'all think about me and my body? Because I like my curves and like I'm not stressing about like how my body looks. And it's just noticing like the cultural differences when you're around like peers that share the same culture versus don't. And it's like you hold each other to a different standard, which is gnarly.
Well, it makes me think too of like for like the white woman that you're talking about, like then going back to body image of like how you think others perceive you.
Yes, exactly.
If you're surrounded by peers who you visibly see as like fit, skinny, whatever words you want to throw in, and then you hear them talking bad about their body or judging, then how are you going to internalize and take that on to impact your own like view of your body? Like, it's like a never ending rabbit hole. Ooh,
it's wild.
Gosh, gnarly. Okay. Personal experiences. So thinking about like, we have all gone through different things, right? Whether it's life events, whether you've had traumatic events, whether you've had bullying, whatever, like all these things contribute to our body image and how we view ourselves. And I feel like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but growing up in K through 12 education was freaking gnarly.
Like, and so was the food.
And so was the food.
The public school food.
Oh my God. But like there was just so much unhappiness, so much judgment, just so much like ew. And it's like, no wonder like people be hating their bodies all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think that maybe we grow up with the same like generational message of like you eat everything on your plate. That's so traumatic. Like that, I've known different stories of how like that message and that behavior of like being forced to like eat everything on your plate has like caused a certain like food not phobias, but like people are like, I do not eat that. Like that is so gross to me. I can't, like every time I think of like that one food, I'm just like, I want to throw up. Like my body's like repulsed.
Oh, you know? Yeah. I'm literally thinking of things as you're saying that. And I think that's like such a crazy thing, and that can tap into like eating disorders and stuff like that where it comes up. But it's like, I think that's something that is not talked about a lot, is this idea of you have to eat all your food, or like you're not a good kid or whatever. And it's like, what is happening, you know? And like the source of that can be a lot of different things, right? Like you come from a place where you don't have a lot of money, or like food is scarce, or X, Y, and Z. But like, what is that doing to your view and relationship with food and your body. So that's a good point, Ash. Thanks for bringing that up. Psychological factors. I mean, we know that everyone has their own individual personalities, personality traits, own mental health things. This all can have a huge like impact on our body image, especially do you have coping mechanisms for the things that you deal with mentally, right? And if you don't, are you someone that quote unquote eats your feelings, like present and accounted for? Like that's something I personally have struggled with most of my life. And it definitely has an impact on my body image, and has throughout my life, right? And so different things like that. And I mean, you can like insert blank here of all different kinds of things and how that shows up.
Yeah, or someone that's chronically depressed and anxious. They don't typically have a normal appetite.
Right.
Like they're going to other substances to like soothe, like food or like alcohol, drugs, or sex, like whatever it is that's not the nutrients that your body may need. Oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna ignore that feeling.
And on top of that, like taking medications that also like curb that or make you feel hungrier, like all of it is just compounding together. Let's see. Physical changes and health conditions. We know as you get older, your body's gonna change, your system changes. Like something that I think for me that I had to come to terms with is the fact that my hips got bigger.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I haven't like changed that much like weight wise, but like my body shape changed.
Yeah.
And like I really struggled with that for a long time of like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing wrong? And then I had to like embrace of like I'm getting older. Like I'm literally about to be 30.
Yeah.
My body looks like a 30-year-old woman's. It doesn't look like a 15-year-old's. And that's a normal part of it. But that part isn't talked about of like your body is going to change over time. And if this idea of, no, you need to look like a 15-year-old's body.
Correct. Right. Like there's a message of like, it's bad, negative, not attractive. As your body like matures and ages.
Yes.
And we can go down a whole nother rabbit hole with that one, but another thing with a physical and health changes and conditions is within women, like when your menstrual cycle comes, like you're craving certain things, or your body, you literally can't move your body sometimes. You just need to crawl up in a ball or something, you know.
Literally.
Or like with men, like they get older, their testosterone drops, you know.
Yeah, like literally it's what happens when you age. But all these like beauty standards are like you have to turn back time. Like you have to like almost stop the aging process, and it's like,
it's gnarly.
Who decided that's what this needs to be? Because I'm not a fan of it. Thank you though.
Yeah.
Not really. Don't thank you. And then last one is fitness and wellness trends. I mean, how many different diets, fitness plans, trend fads have you seen come up? Especially I feel like during COVID, things were like spiking of like things to do at home, all these things. And it's like, okay, like this is very overwhelming, right? And then every time a new thing comes out, you're like, oh, I need to be doing that in order to be fit, in order to be well. And it's like, I really encourage you listeners to like actually look up what being well represents and having wellness, because I think you would be surprised.
Correct.
That it's not you working out twice a day, every day, only drinking water, only eating vegetables and protein and all the things. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah, so. Like having a healthy well-being is not just centered around food and like exercise. Like those are important things, but it's also about what we're going to go into a little bit later, like those thoughts, those feelings. How do you unprogram those?
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, thank you for sharing those.
Yeah.
factors. It's super important to talk about all that
Mm.
as we get started. But I would also like us to touch on some myths about body image.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited about this section. When I was reading it, I was like, yes, check. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The first one is body image only impacts women. And that is so wrong.
That is unbelievably wrong.
So wrong. If not just the same or more within men.
Mm-hmm.
Like as women, we're also guilty of sometimes holding men to this certain body image.
Yeah.
Like they have to look this certain way, be this height.
Yes.
It's like
the tall, dark, and handsome with
abs. It's like I know I've heard so many stories of like, oh, I declined that guy because he wasn't tall enough. And I'm like, yikes a dilly. I'm also guilty of that. But like, that stops a lot of like good connections just because someone was like, they literally were born that way. Like,
yeah, you
know?
can't control your height. What?
I know. I mean, you can wear some like heel boots, but okay. Or they have to like have this certain type of facial hair, or you're not masculine enough, you know?
Yeah.
The like societal cultural like understanding like what men's supposed to look like is changing.
Yeah.
But that's another tangent. Let's keep going. Myths. Second one, if you don't actively hate your body, that means you're body positive. That one's a big ill for me. OMG. So not true.
Yeah. It's not black or white.
It's not black or white. I know for me personally, like I grew up with this message, like taking care of your body should feel like a chore. Like cleaning your body, paying attention to your body's urges, like looking at how it is, right?
Yeah.
Like all of that is a chore and annoying, and if you stop doing that, then you're like automatically like praising yourself, and that's not the case. And like it takes a couple more steps of like, okay, I'm noticing these like negative thoughts. Maybe the first step was just to notice them. Maybe not do anything actively about them. We need to get to a better place to do something about them. We're going to talk about that later. Okay. Okay, number 3 is having a positive body image means you love every single thing about your body, looks every day. So again, so not true. We're going to have our bad days.
Yeah.
And the fact is, there'll be many days where we love our body and we embrace it. And there'll be many days where we just want to like tell it to be quiet and leave us alone. Positive body image means you're not only overly fixed or concerned about how your body looks, but again, you're able to recognize what's going on with it, how you're relating to others in the world, what it means to you, and navigating those messages that feel like this is putting me back into that pattern of hating my body.
Yeah. I think it like reminds me of like kind of like what we teach clients a lot, right? Of like, you're not going to just not have emotions. Like you're not just going to not have negative things that come up that make you feel like crappy, right? But it's how are you like showing compassion, understanding, acceptance to yourself in those moments that like this is going to come up, right? And I'm giving you space to process that without like beating you up and judging you for it.
So overall, with this one, it's really important to know like positive, healthy body image is knowing like you're going to not like some stuff about yourself and about you, how you look, and about how your body feels. But ultimately, it's about one, recognizing that, and two, like showing up compassionately for yourself of
Yes.
I'm used to talking to myself this way, or I'm used to having this follow-up thought every time I look at that curve, or every time I look at that mole, or whatever it is. And I'm just gonna pause that, not go there, maybe say something positive instead, give myself some love.
Yeah.
Maybe even think about how your best friend would like compliment you and be like, you're amazing. Stop being mean to my Ash.
Stop being mean to my friend.
Yeah, stop being mean to my friend. But yeah. Okay. Next is, it gets harder to have a positive body image as you age. OMG. Major yikes. So not true, because from different like stories I've heard is that the older you get, the more like not resigned, more confident and like secure you feel. Like this is the only body I get in this life.
Yeah.
Like I can get a new car, I can get a new house, I can get some new shoes, but this is the only one I'm gonna get. And how can I find a way to love it, right?
Yeah.
As it gets older with age.
Right.
And that's really hard.
Yeah.
When not only young people, but like everyone is just slammed in the face with all these like anti-aging or like shapewear or like body modifications that you can make to make yourself look more youthful. And it's like, how did we come to this place of like there's more value in being youthful?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think you can like spurn that a lot of different ways, because like if you look at different cultural standards, like there are a lot of cultures who like fully like idolize the aging older elder body. And I think like that's something that like, I don't know if you've seen, but like I've seen, like my mom is a really good example of, she's like one of the only women I know that like embraces her gray hair.
Ooh.
Like her gray's coming in, she was like, listen, like this is like each one represents like a life experience.
Yeah.
Like it means that my body is aging, it means that like I've been through stuff, like, and she like embraces that. And like that's something that like I've always been like, why do you embrace that? Like it means you're getting older. But like being able to appreciate like she's been on this earth for 51 years, that's a long time. That's 51 years of experiences and different life things. And like your body like shows, you know, like I've been through things, like I've been aging through this process.
Yes.
And so I think like turning it and thinking about it, that is like kind of a beautiful thing of like, yeah, like my skin starts to get saggy, right? Or like my hair grays, or I start to get wrinkles, like yeah, because you've been living some life.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yeah.
So I don't know, that's just what made me think about.
Yes. And it's like she can be present in, I appreciate my body.
Yeah.
Not just for what it does for me today, but what it's done for me.
Yeah, throughout my life. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's a hard place to get to, but also one that I want to get to.
Wow, so glad you shared that.
Thanks, friend.
Love that. And love your mom.
Shout out, Mom.
I'm not gonna cry right now. Okay. Next, getting lots of compliments on your appearance will give you positive body image. LOLs.
All the LOLs.
LOLs, capital letters.
Haas.
Haas. Yeah, I can definitely attest to that one being a myth. Recently, with me cutting my hair.
Yes.
Got a lot of compliments on it.
Oh, you did. And you just, it didn't matter.
And I still do. And, like, I'm still kind of just ill.
Yeah.
You know? And I know it's not good to just be ill every time I look at my hair. But, like, I feel ill. Like,
You got the ick.
I got the ick because it wasn't exactly what I envisioned it to be. It was, like, the opposite of what I envisioned it to be.
Yeah.
And I think also like noticing how I showed up for myself after it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you do something to your body that you think is going to feel good, like, oh, I'm going to get that haircut, or I'm going to like eat this like fast food or whatever, this like really like heavy meal, and it's going to taste so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately I didn't appreciate my body in that way. Like after the haircut, I just like walked out of there in silence and cried on the way home. Like I didn't like voice anything.
Yeah.
I just stayed quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, I
Yeah.
should probably work on that, you know?
Yeah.
Same with food. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm really craving that thing.
By thing, she means fries.
Yeah. Fries? Yeah, you're right, fries. Maybe I don't get a large and a medium.
Maybe I choose one.
Maybe I just get a medium and eat this, be present in the moment, and if I really am still hungry,
Yeah.
I'll go get some more.
Yeah.
And what happens? I'm never really hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
After that.
That seafood diet of like, I see food and it makes me think that I can eat all these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you bring up a good point though, like for the hair example of people can compliment you a million times, and if you don't believe that yourself or already have that like schema,
Correct.
it's not gonna hit. And in fact, like studies kind of show that it can make things worse.
Exactly.
And
yes.
to that, I can say like personally, like sometimes if I've thought like I look really hideous in this outfit right now, and then someone compliments it, then I'm like, are they trying to be mean? Are they trying to like call me out right now?
Oh my gosh, I've so felt that way before.
So it can make things worse. So, you know.
I hear you.
Not always the best.
And I think like going back to the social media thing with like appearance, it's like you get these compliments of like providing these certain angles, these certain things in this one picture and there's one video, and like you get validation from that of like, oh yeah, I am good looking, I am like gorgeous, sexy, whatever it is. But do you really believe that? Or are you just believing that because other people are telling you that?
Ooh. Yeah.
You know?
Like fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, last myth. If you have a positive body image, you won't be motivated to take care of your body. Again, big LOL. I think that the opposite is true.
Yeah.
In many cases of like the people that I know from my like clinical personal experience, people that like spend a lot of harsh dedicated time on their body may feel like the worst about it.
Like it's never enough.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Or it's like the two like polar opposite. Like you go extreme, or you go extreme one way, like hardcore, like I'm gonna do all the things, like lose sleep because I want to look a certain way, and like and not have any social connections because I want to take care of my body, working out, eating right, all the things. Or it's the opposite of like I'm just like resigned, numb, and I'm gonna let my body go and I'm gonna feed it junk and I'm not gonna move it around. And where is the balance? Where is a happy middle?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, there are many people who assume that you have to feel shame about your body in order to make healthy choices. Super gross. That's super gross.
Yeah.
But it's true. I feel like that's a common feeling.
Yeah.
Of like, in order to make change, you should feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of, I can like embrace my body and like how it feels and like what it does for me, and still like want to go walk every day.
Correct.
Because I want to make my muscles like feel better, or like give my body time to move. Like But again, it's like that all or nothing. There is no spectrum of in between.
Exactly. When in fact people who appreciate and feel gratitude towards their body are more likely to take good care of it. I go through that inner dialogue basically every evening when I'm like, I don't want to shower before bed. I'll just shower in the morning. There's a little battle going on. And I'm like, no, like I sleep better. I feel more cozy when I shower before bed. I feel more relaxed. Like that's like taking that extra step of like reminding myself how I feel after the shower, in bed with clean clothes on, you know, smelling good.
Got the Frenchie.
Good skincare routine, like helps remind myself like to appreciate and take care of it, even though quote unquote hassle of turning the water on, getting the towel, like, you know,
yeah, all the steps,
all the things.
Gotcha.
A recent review of research found that women with a positive body image are more likely to practice intuitive eating, use sun protection, conduct regular breast self-exams, and engage in vigorous exercise. Don't know if I said that right, but
you did.
Okay.
But the build up to that was intense. I was like, "What are you okay? Having a stroke? What's happening?"
I guess the caffeine's working. Okay, no matter what the size of their body is, so that's great to hear.
Yeah,
that's great to hear that us women, we got it.
Yeah. But also disheartening to know like these myths are like what's commonly talked about and projected out there. So let Ash and Aaron like officially debunked for you these myths and stop subscribing to it just because it's what everyone's talking about on TikTok.
Exactly.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Yes. Okay. Also, before I move forward, I want to plug also this month's When Life Feels Messy video.
Yes.
YouTube video will be about debunking these myths.
Yeah, talking a little bit more about these things.
Yes, and it'll be a cute, fun, and entertaining, engaging video.
Yeah, if you
created
like
by the lovely Erin.
Yeah, you get to listen to my annoying voice. Yay.
Not annoying. Very lovely voice. Okay.
Oh. Okay, friend.
Okay.
Are we pivoting again?
Pivoting, yes.
Okay. So, thinking about like body image, like there are a few buzzwords that I feel like are circulating pretty commonly. Like some of these might sound really cliche. I know I feel like some of them are cliche. But those would be body positivity, body negativity, and body neutrality. So I thought it would be helpful if we like quickly just look at what each of these means and how they're different.
Okay.
As we continue navigating down this fun path.
Okay.
So, thinking of body positivity, I mean, it's kind of like what it sounds. It's kind of self-explanatory in a way, but it's really this big movement and mindset. You've probably heard it thrown out a lot recently that really encourages people to have like a really positive and accepting attitude toward their bodies, like regardless of what shape, what size, what your appearance is, right? Like, so key things about it is like embracing and celebrating the diversity of body shapes and sizes. Like, I think there was even a movement on campus. I saw like this poster once and it was like beauty at all sizes or something. Like, so things like that, right? Like rejecting societal beauty standards, like things we talked about, like the narrow and unrealistic view of what beauty is, what it looks like, encouraging self-love, self-acceptance, focusing on the unique qualities of everyone's body, and promoting a culture that really values all bodies and challenges the body shaming and discrimination. Now, all that sounds great, but honestly, if you're someone that has experienced issues with your own body image and just like beat yourself up, judged it, been negative, it's gonna be really difficult to go complete 180 from one end to the other.
Correct.
So as awesome as that is, I don't feel like it's always realistic and feasible for everyone.
It's hard. There's this like general theme with positive body positivity of like self-acceptance. You said it, like,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're not an experienced practicing person, practition, LOLs, no.
Practition.
LOLs. If you're not experienced in practicing self-acceptance, basically that's gonna be real hard.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
because
It doesn't just switch. It's
it
not
doesn't.
a light
Yeah.
thing. Like, you don't just switch that on and off. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's my bit on that. But,
Okay.
moving forward.
Yes.
Body negativity, of course. Like, this is the exact opposite of that, right? Like, this is the mindset of really negative thoughts and feelings about your body, right? So, this can include a lot of self-criticism, like being really dissatisfied with your body, how it looks, how it feels, and like really focusing, maybe even hyperfixating on your perceived flaws in all quotations, because what are the flaws? Are they actual flaws, or are they just like what people, society has told you are flaws? But
Exactly.
so key aspects of that would be like always comparing your body to other people, to society's ideals, and feeling inadequate, having low self-esteem, having anxiety, having depression. And it's often fueled by societal pressures, the media influence, and unrealistic beauty standards, which is what we talked about, like in the beginning when we talked about all those factors. Now, a more recent thing that's come up is body neutrality, which I feel like is a really great middle ground between the two polar opposites, because this is really a concept that has people shifting and encouraging, like, not focusing as much about like your aesthetic, right? Like the aesthetic aspects of your body and how it looks, but more towards like what your body can do and the experiences that it has, it can have, it will have, kind of thing. So some key principles of that would be like emphasizing the functionality and capabilities of your body rather than your appearance, advocating for a more neutral and non-judgmental stance towards your body, allowing individuals to appreciate their bodies for what they can accomplish without placing undue emphasis on how they look, right? Like, so really challenging this idea of like my appearance is the only important thing about me and my body image. Acknowledging that our bodies change over time, and that's a normal part of life, like kind of what we talked about. Like,
yes,
your body's gonna age, like literally what happens, like from the moment you're born, like your body is aging. Like, emphasizing the importance of the mind-body connection, which is really cultivating awareness of like how the body feels, how it moves, how it responds, and having a more holistic understanding of well-being. Again, we're coming full circle again to what we've kind of been talking about.
Yes.
Reducing the judgment, right? Promoting that self-compassion and breaking free from the comparison to others. Okay, so thinking about like these concepts, right? These three things, like this is like a spectrum of things, right?
Yep.
And so like you might find yourself like aligning with one of these like maybe more easily. Maybe you find it a little bit easier to go from one than the other. I don't know. Everyone's different, right? But it really depends on like how are you going to like empower yourself, right? To heal towards a perspective that focuses on functionality and well-being. And this is not to say that body positivity isn't a good thing. It is. Like, having that full self-acceptance and embracing in that way is awesome. But it's not always realistic right away.
Exactly.
Right? And so, like, instead of, like, shooting for the moon and then being disappointed when you don't get there, like, can we shoot for, like, Texas? Like something more realistic.
Right.
And then you can work up to the more like body positivity and putting in the work for that.
Love that. Yes. Yeah. So let's transition a little bit to mental health, like body image and mental health. Because we've touched on it a little bit throughout our conversation so far, but what are some other components, like other things that impact negative body image on mental health?
Yeah.
So something that we've been talking about so far is like self-esteem and confidence. And that's almost always connected to your body image.
Right.
Like what your body looks like, can do, and you feeling confident in yourself and your abilities. People who are satisfied with their bodies tend to have higher self-esteem, while those with negative body image can experience lower self-worth or confidence. And I really liked what you mentioned just now about what your body can do and what it's capable of experiencing, and how that may relate to like self-esteem and confidence. Of like, if you know like there are certain things of your body you can't control, then how can we practice like being okay with that? We may not like it, but you can be okay with it and know like, okay, I'm confident in knowing this part of myself, and that doesn't make me any less or less worthy.
True. My worthiness is not tied to my body image.
So another is like eating disorders. We talked about that a little bit. So another impact of negative body image on mental health is the development of an eating disorder. Poor body image can be a contributing factor to developing an eating disorder like anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, or like a binge eating disorder. These disorders can involve distorted perceptions of one's body and can have a serious physical and mental health consequences. I've worked with some eating disorders in the past, and professionally they're just like very like, I could feel for them a lot. Like it's really hardening and like a very suffering thing to go through, and it really impacts not just how your body looks and feels, but that confidence, that self-esteem. If almost like an existential thing, if I can, quote unquote, if I can do this to my body, then what else am I capable of in hurting it or harming it? And that's really hard to like take a moment and pause with and be like, hold on. I get that. And also there's also been evidence like that's part of like coming to see a counselor, is like helping the client like look at and review ways that they do take care of themselves, even if it's just some things they do on the daily basis. Like I get out of bed, I put these clothes on, I brush my teeth, I got to my therapy appointment, you know, I drink 1 glass of water. So it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. That's a hard.
Another impact is depression and anxiety. Right? Negative body image is linked to an increased risk of depression and anxiety. If you're constantly comparing yourself to another person or these societal standards, or feeling like you're never satisfied with how your body looks or what it can do, then of course you're going to have these chronic, persistent feelings of like sadness, worry, unworthiness.
Yeah, the thing that it makes me think about is like, think about like if you work at a job that like you don't like, right? Like,
oh yeah, I have a memory of that.
like you're treated poorly, like you just like dread going to work every day, like that built up feeling is going to impact you more and more, right? It seeps into other areas of your life. It's the same thing with body image. Like if you're constantly feeling this happiness with it, like it's going to build up into something more intensely that impacts you.
Yes. And the same like breath of that, when clients like never been to therapy before, maybe they've gone through a few therapists and they're like, I just want to be happy, like I just want to stop feeling this way, blah blah blah, and I'm like, honestly, you're still gonna feel this way. Yeah. Maybe our goal can be, let's just feel it less frequently. Right. Or maybe we shoot for happiness in more attainable pockets. Because shooting for a goal of like, I just want to be happy from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep, like, no, ma'am.
Unrealistic.
Yeah. So another impact is social isolation. People with poor body image may avoid social situations, activities, fearing being judged or criticized on their appearance, and can lead to feeling lonely and isolated. Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not satisfied with how I look or how I feel, then I'm just going to project that onto other people and avoid.
And especially if I have like my support system, my peers, my family are constantly throwing criticisms, judgments my way, why would I want to be around that? Like I'm just going to stay at my house by myself and not talk to anyone.
Another thing is an impact on relationships, right? Again, if you're isolating, you're not going to be developing new relationships. It may influence a struggle with intimacy or self-disclosure or vulnerability. Like that's kind of one of the foundations of relationships. Like you got to put in effort.
Yep.
You got to be honest. You got to be compassionate and kind. Vulnerable. And sometimes that's really hard to meet another person at when you're not providing that with yourself. You know? Yeah. Ooh, this next one is kind of a biggie, and I really like working with it, which is perfectionism. So these unrealistic beauty standards can contribute to I want to say like like a cat purr. Perfectionistic tendencies, where we feel like we need to attain this like idolized body, this like perfect shape, this perfect look.
Perfect in quotes,
right. To feel worthy, to feel satisfied. And if we don't, we're like constantly feeling stressed, constantly feeling like we're not enough. There's always something to do, maybe even feeling rushed.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to like take a step to the side and see like yourself in that little cycle, because that's all you know sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how your mom was, or how your dad was, or someone you really love is still like that. You know.
Yeah.
Physical health consequences, right? So if we are constantly stressed and have these negative emotions associated with our poor body image, we can develop physical health issues like headaches, muscle tension, other chronic cardiovascular problems. And this is like another part of my like work that I also like to implement with clients, of like that somatic processing. And it's pretty powerful because you're just like, you're paying attention to your body and where it stores all of the feelings and the trauma. Because when you think of feeling your feelings, you're like, okay, my head or like my heart
right
hurts, is sad. But no, like your whole body is feeling that
like
stuff.
you feeling that.
Yeah, like for me, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, my eyes start twitching. Like my eyeballs saying, get it together, girl.
I was like, warning.
Okay, and, lastly, the impact on your daily functioning. So your body image, if you spend a lot of attention or if you notice your thoughts are like negative or very self-deprecating, that's a lot of mental energy. That's like a lot of concentration, like time, attention of like, I am not okay. And then you're just living in that constant state, and it becomes a pattern and a habit to wake up and say that one disgusting thing to yourself or like treat yourself like this, and it becomes normal when it's really like not okay.
Yeah. It's I think like if you take away anything, it's that it builds up. Like it adds on little by little. Your body's gonna keep score. Your mind is keeping score. Like, and so also this is where like give yourself a lot of grace and compassion of like this isn't something that just turns off. Like this is gonna take work and energy to change, because like every day you've been adding like a penny to the bucket almost. So, but there are things that we can do to like kind of strive for the body neutrality or body positivity if you're already feeling in the body neutrality zone. And so we just wanted to leave you with like a few ideas as we're wrapping up here. And the first one would be like practicing writing a letter of gratitude to your body. And that might sound easy, but I promise you, if you actually sit down, you reflect and you're authentic about it, sometimes it can be really hard.
Yes. Hooey.
Because you think about it, like you're trying to think about like, what am I thankful for my body? Like how it works for me every day. Like doing things that you don't even think about. Like right now I'm sitting here, my heart's pumping blood. Like my brain is like taking in oxygen or whatever. It's
Your
traveling
ears
through my
have the
body.
sound waves.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. My vocal cords are working. My muscles are working because I can hold this microphone. Like we take it for granted so much of what our body does for us without even taking a second to think about it. And then we want to beat ourselves up because we have a muffin top. Excuse me?
Exactly.
Your body deserves more respect than that. Point blank period.
Facts.
So,
Facts.
like, spend some time really showing some gratitude to it, because it does so much for you that we don't even think about on the daily. And we have the privilege of not thinking about it because our bodies like are working. And some people don't have those privileges because their body like might not be doing some of these like daily things that we don't think about. And it puts into a lot of perspective, right?
Yes.
So show your body some gratitude.
Yes.
Accepting our body image distress as normal. This is a normal part of being human, unfortunately.
Yep.
This is something that comes up. Like, you are not the only person in the world that struggles with your body image or that thinks X, Y, and Z or feels like people perceive you this way. So remind yourself that like this like almost natural instinct to like judge yourself, to compare, to have all these feelings as a normal thing. And then we can start to challenge that and say, okay, like this might be coming up as a habit because maybe like it's just been like something I've allowed or done for so long, but that doesn't mean it has to be.
Right. Exactly. And it doesn't have to be all day.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Like, what are we subscribing to, right?
Exactly.
And then, like, focusing on other values, right? Like, negative body image can really convince us that what we look like, our appearance, is all that's important. And that could not be further from the truth. How many people have you met that are, like, Greek gods and they have the worst personality that you've ever met in your life? Like, their energy is just, like, suffocating and disgusting.
Ugh.
Why then is appearance the most important thing if like I can't even stand to be around you because of how you act, talk, whatever, right?
Right.
Like, it's not the most important thing. I don't know what thing came along and told us that appearance was what we need to hyperfixate on in these last few hundred years, but I'm over it.
Facts.
I will take someone's positive, even just like warm energy that like has like a good heart for people, like wants to do good in the world, like over someone that looks like a Greek god any day.
Facts. And I know we can go into that like psychology a little bit of like somehow our human brains equated that to being healthy. Like our bodies, our organs are healthy.
Yeah.
And no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Just because you look this one way, have a six pack, have all these muscles, whatever it is,
healthy.
you're super skinny, thigh gap, right? Like that does not mean you're healthy. So let's just put that there.
And also, just because you might be physically healthy doesn't mean you're mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy. Okay?
Let's just drop that mic
and
right there.
all of them are equally as important as one. So,
yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Glad we touched on that.
And then, like, getting professional support if you feel like this is something that you struggle with, which, again, like, we see that a lot. Like, because we see college students, and this is a huge thing when you're trying to figure out who you are in this world, right? Like, so if you feel like you're struggling with it, like, reach out to us. Like, that's literally what we're here for. And to just, like, be a safe space for you to, like, process and learn, like, how to, like, one, appreciate, like, you for you.
Yeah.
Like, recognize, like, these are the thoughts I feel. And then how to start, like, integrating, like, the more embracing, accepting, like, nature of it.
Love that. And we would love to work with you. Another thing is to wear clothes that are comfortable and that make you feel good about your body.
Yes.
Ooh, wow. Like,
Mic drop.
This is a new practice for me.
Same.
Within the last 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
And you were a really big factor in helping me with that.
How?
Because just growing up, like, there was this message of, like, women wear these clothes. They wear feminine clothes. They wear, like, you show skin. You, like, you wear clothes that are uncomfortable, right? You wear shoes that are uncomfortable, like,
right, like, it's all about
you
the
put
parents.
your makeup on, like, you make sure your hair is done, like, all things, right?
And then you see me looking like a homeless person.
no, but, like, being, not just working with you, but, like, being in your life and, like, seeing, like, how you, like, show up for yourself and, like, your body and how you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, and, like, you just express yourself through your fashion and through your clothes, and you're like, this is what I want. Like, has, like, that, like, golden fairy dust has, like, rubbed off on ash, and, like, I feel most confident and comfortable in wearing, like, fitted but not tight clothes, like, semi-masculine clothes, like, I have the Grandma Ash vibe, like.
But you rock it. Dude.
I do rock it, and it's, like, blues. Like, most of my wardrobe is blue, and I love that. Like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. And I love that you feel, like, more comfortable. And that's, like, so interesting you brought that up, because now I'm thinking about it, like, since I met you, like, your attire has changed. Like, and that's so nice to, like, think about, like, you're embracing, like, what feels good for you. Like, oh, I'm gonna cry. No, I'm not. But, like, I love that for you.
Thanks, friend. And, like, taking time to, like, pick out clothes.
Yeah.
And, like, have fun with it, and, like, not, like, dreading, oh, now I gotta, like, put on this type of outfit because I'm gonna go here.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. And if you feel good in the crop top, wear the damn crop top.
Exactly.
Like, come on now.
Yep.
We are all allowed and given the opportunity and respect to wear whatever the heck feels good for us. So wear it.
Wear it. Another thing is engage in physical activity that you enjoy and feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
And that's subjective.
Exactly. Maybe that's walking up the stairs.
Oh, God, not me.
Once a day. Once a week.
Elevator
whatever
it
it is. Maybe that's, walking. I know I do like a little loop around my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to go down the street. I'll just do
Scary.
a couple laps.
Yeah. Streets are scary.
Yeah. Or maybe that's like you planning, I'm going to go like on this like hike with a friend, or I'm going to go do this yoga class every other month. Like whatever it is.
I still need to go to that yoga class.
Yes. Making sure like you do something you enjoy. And if you don't know what you enjoy, go try new things.
Yeah. Like, and you don't have to, like, buy a gym membership and be like, I'm going to go 5 days a week. Like, no, that's unrealistic.
Exactly.
Like, stop setting yourself up to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're expecting yourself to do too much too quickly.
You're right. Maybe you make it like something fun, like your local skating rink.
Oh my gosh, not me, but I like watching people.
Yeah.
I'm too scared.
Another thing is be aware of your own thoughts about your body. And we've touched on this throughout our talk today of like, we are our own harshest, meanest critics of ourselves.
Yeah.
And like what we find acceptable for other people somehow doesn't apply to us.
Exception to the rule.
And this is where like, maybe even if it's this podcast, or if you have a special friend or like a good close support system, like to help hold yourself accountable to those thoughts you have.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's also important to like share and be vulnerable and reach out. Like I would have never learned like it's possible. Maybe I would have, but like it would have taken a longer time to start like slowly integrating a nicer way to talk to myself. If you were like, be nice to my friend. Or like my other best friend Nez, like stop talking to Ash like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh crap, you're right. Like I would say that to you,
Mm-hmm.
And that's really important to like practice when those people aren't around.
Yeah.
Or you're feeling like you're at an upswing.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, I've shared with you, when my period comes along the week before and like a couple days during, those are a little harder times for me to like implement that. So
which is a normal part.
It's a normal
of
thing.
It.
Yeah.
Your body is doing lots of things. Again, doing things we don't even think about or know.
Yeah, exactly. So trying to be proactive about how you could take care of yourself when you know moments like that are going to come along.
Exactly.
A lot of time of just becoming aware of how incessantly self-critical we can be.
Yeah.
And reducing that or stopping that can benefit our body image immensely and how our body feels.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the only body we got.
Literally.
And instead of like having a dreading feeling like, oh crap, this is the only body I got, like almost like it's a one of a kind, because it is one of a kind, amazing part of ourselves. It's literally you that you get to take care of. Like that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Oh, something I just thought of, like that might be a little hard to end on, but I'm gonna say it anyway, is
say it.
What would your body say about you? Like, how would your body describe you?
Right now, my body would describe me as a French fry addict.
Oh, that made me think of something because, like, I had a couples, like, session the other day, and, like, I was doing, like, the individual, like, where I see, like, them one-on-one separately.
Yeah.
And I asked, like, them, like, independently, like, how do you feel like your partner would describe you as a partner?
Yeah.
And that made me think about, like, how would your body describe you as, like, the host, right?
Correct. Yes.
Like, And the first thing that I thought about, like, for my body is, like, I'm super mean, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that makes me want to cry a little bit, but it's like, that might be something that we have to do, is like, how would your body, like, describe you? Like, if you imagine your body as your child, how would it describe you as the parent or guardian?
Exactly.
Like, or the, person in charge kind of thing. Ooh.
And then also notice how you would respond to how your body would describe you as a caregiver.
Are you defensive?
Are you angry?
Are you listening at all? Like, oh, that should be a whole other activity.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I'm going to add that one.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. And lastly, we would really encourage you to become a critical viewer of social media and the messages you get out there.
Yeah.
Okay? The beauty ideal is everywhere. And also, it's like constantly changing.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
if someone decides what the new trend and fab is, like,
yeah.
I saw this thing of, like, oh my gosh, you're still doing 2016 makeup? Like,
I was literally about to bring that up.
who even cares?
Exactly.
I love 2016 makeup.
Me
I will
too.
forever rock it until I don't have eyelids. Like,
Correct.
what do you mean? Like,
exactly.
so dumb.
Exactly. And, noticing how you can become vulnerable to those messages.
Yeah.
Like, what parts of yourself really like to eat it up?
You just take it in.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, I got to change everything. I'm not okay. And it's like, oh, what? Why does this person have so much power over you?
Exactly. You can squeeze all that water out that sponge and throw that away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. So that constant comparison is intertwined with increasingly indiscernible filters and highlight reels of people's lives that are not your lives.
Literally.
Okay?
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, holding yourself accountable, keeping yourself in check.
Mm-hmm.
Because you love yourself.
Also, like, anytime you see, like, a celebrity model post something, remember how many freaking pictures were on their photo album that they had to go through and were like, I hate that one, you can't post this one, to, like, pick the quote-unquote perfect ones. Like, everyone struggles with this.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're seeing is a 0.1% that they want you to see. It's carefully curated. Like, stop subscribing to that like that's just like they woke up every day and their life is perfect. It's not.
It's not perfect. And some ways to help yourself with that, when you're on social media, you're noticing yourself, like, wanting to go on social media, or even, like, after, is, like, how do you feel after viewing this content, right? Or this person's profile pictures. Yeah. Do I feel more positive or more negative about my body image? Do I hesitate to unfollow people who may be unhelpful to, like, my goals and like my body positive journey or body neutrality journey, like, whatever it is?
Yeah.
What are you allowing yourself to view and absorb and internalize?
Exactly.
And you have the power inside you to do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's just the same of, like, who do you surround yourself with energy-wise? Yes. Who do you allow, like, messages, content, whatever that you're seeing to come from?
Oh, gosh. Why are you so powerful?
You know, like, why are you following people that, like, don't make you feel, like, I don't even know, like, if it's accepted, but, like, don't make you feel, like, good energy.
Well, also, like, why are you spending a lot of time focusing on that image and that beauty ideal?
Right.
When that energy, attention could be so much more useful looking at yourself.
Exactly. Thanks for sharing, friend.
Thank you, Gwen.
Well, as we wrap up here, as always, we want to leave you with a quote.
Ooh, I love this quote.
This quote's kind of harsh. Ooh. Like,
love
in a
it.
good way, though. It's, like,
Right.
needed. So the quote is by Louise Hay, and it says, "You have been criticizing yourself for years, and it hasn't worked. Try being approving of yourself and see what happens." The ball is in your court.
Yes,
Like,
it
you
is.
have the power to start changing things and start challenging, and ultimately, you're the only one that gets to decide what you do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So what will you choose?
Ooh, we would love to hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
So glad to have you in our first episode back of this year.
Oh, no.
And I'm kind of nervy, but also really excited about next month's episode.
It's all you.
It is all me because I have, like, this is part of my life, my personal life,
Mm-hmm.
but also, like, so much of my professional life, too. And it's about navigating bonus parent roles.
Mm-hmm.
So our wonderful listeners either are bonus parents or, like, they are open to the idea of having a partner
Yeah.
that has a child and another parent.
Yeah, or you have a friend or loved one that's a bonus parent.
Exactly,
You want to
yes.
learn how to be more understanding and empathetic.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited to dive into that.
I'm excited for you to dive into that and for me to just, like, support.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have supported me so far, so
Oh, don't get sappy on me.
I'm gonna cry. Ah. Okay, well, stay tuned for that.
Yes. And we will see you next month for all new content. Thanks for being here, you wonderful, wonderful listeners. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.